Hey guys, today I'm bringing you my wrap up for the month of July, and I've kind of been dreading making this video, to be perfectly honest, because I read quite a few books in the month of July, which was exciting, but that means that I'm gonna have to talk forever in this video. I'm also really proud of the fact that I read a wide variety of things this month. I read adult fiction, I read young adult fiction, I read children's books, I read picture books, I read graphic novels, and I read comic books. I read quite the variety this month, which I'm super happy about. I'm hoping that every month from now on will be kind of like that, but we'll see what happens. Let's talk about the books I read in the month of July. I started out my month with Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first in the Grisha trilogy, and I did a full video review on this book. If you want to hear all of my thoughts, you can click on this book, and I will also leave a link down below. While I did enjoy this book and I found it to be an entertaining read, I also had a few issues with it, mainly with the world building, and I also just felt like there wasn't too much to the plot, but I am going to be continuing on with the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it holds next, because I do see the potential with this book. I also think that I went into this book with a bit of too high expectations, so I'm going to lower my expectations for the rest of the trilogy. Then I read Zack and Mia by A.J. Betts. You can't really see the cover because of the white balance. I apologize. I also did a full video review on this book. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can click on this book and it'll take you to the review, and I will also leave a link down below to that review. I didn't love this book. It didn't blow me away, but I still enjoyed it. I had a great time reading it. In a weird way, this book was light and fluffy and a nice summer read, even though the characters within this book are facing a pretty tough situation. Then I read Faking Normal by Courtney C. Stevens, and there is a trigger warning for abuse and rape within this book, so be aware of that before picking this book up. This book is about a girl by the name of Alexi who was faced with a life-altering experience over the summertime, and she's having trouble moving forward in life. Then we've got this boy by the name of Bo D, who has also faced some pretty serious life events recently and is actually moving in with Alexi's family. Together, Alexi and Bo D come together to try to help each other heal and move forward in life. I wasn't sold with this book right from the start, but then I kept reading and I kept reading, and I just kept falling in love with these characters and this story. It's such a powerful story, and I was not expecting that going into this book, but this book really teaches you to find your voice and to use it. It was wonderful seeing two people come together who have just been through so much and help each other heal. So I would highly recommend this book if you're looking for kind of a darker contemporary. I really enjoyed this one, and it's not talked about enough on BookTube, so go pick it up. Then I read Where She Went by Gayle Forman. Have you ever read a book that everybody just seems to love, but you just didn't love it? This is the second book in the If I Stay duology, and unfortunately, I just didn't love it. I really wanted to like it, guys. I really wanted to like it, but I just didn't. I still really enjoyed Gayle Forman's writing style. She has this beautiful, lyrical, and poetic writing style, and I find it to be really unique and wonderful. But to me, this really didn't add anything to If I Stay. It didn't add anything to the story, and I also just didn't really like Adam in this book. I totally, completely understand why he's mopey and why he's upset and angsty. Like, I get that. He's been through a rough time with Mia and her family, and so he has every right to be that way. But at the same time, I really didn't like his attitude about being famous. I was like, boy, you need to chill. But I totally get why people like this book. Trust me, I get it. I personally just didn't like it. Then I picked up The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, and this was actually a birthday present from Arthur over at Chapter Select, and I randomly just got the urge to read this book one day, so I picked it up and started reading it, and holy crap, guys. I just had no expectations going into this book, and I think that's the best way to go into this book because I was kind of blown away a little bit. Like, I didn't absolutely adore it, but I still really enjoyed it. It was really good and just crazy. I'm actually going to read the description because it doesn't give too much away. Every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointing at her while two of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. Half the time reading this book, I was just like, what? 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 This is essentially a dystopian thriller, and it's insane. It's insane. It's a bit confusing at times, which is one of the things that I didn't like about it. I was confused as to what was happening at times, but for the most part, I really, really enjoyed this one. It's very dark and eerie and creepy, and I loved that about it. Then I read a middle grade story, and that is Pip Bartlett's Guide to Magical Creatures, a novel by Jackson Pierce and Maggie Stiefvater. This book follows a girl who talks to magical creatures. Magical creatures are a normal thing in this world, but the ability to talk to them is not so normal. Pip moves in with her aunt after an incident with a unicorn, and she quickly makes friends with this boy named Thomas, and together they try to deal with these creatures called Fuzzles who are creating chaos within this town. The illustrations were on point, Maggie Stiefvater did a fantastic job, the writing was average, and the storyline was decent. This wasn't a middle grade that really wowed me in any way. It was still really fun though. It's a light and fast short read. It's been a long time since I've read a middle grade story that's really impressed me, but overall, it was good. I liked it. Decent. Then I read The Blue-Haired Boy, also by Courtney C. Stevens, and this is the novella that goes along with Faking Normal, and I would suggest reading this after Faking Normal, even though it takes place before Faking Normal. It gives you a better understanding about the character Bo D, and I really enjoyed it. Even though I didn't really love the character that was introduced within this novella, I still really enjoyed it. Then I read Very Good Lives by J.K. Rowling. All hail Queen J.K. Rowling. This book was just simply inspiring. This is a speech that she gave at Harvard University one year, and I really liked it. I also just really liked the typography throughout this. It was beautiful, and I just really enjoyed it. It's just a simple little read. If you're looking for something to inspire you and motivate you, then definitely check this out. Then I read the graphic novel Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. There is a bit of adult content within this story, so be aware of that before picking this one up. This story follows a girl by the name of Katie, who is a chef, and her life is just a bit of a mess, and so she's given this opportunity for a little bit of a do-over. But she soon finds out that she's making a bigger mess of her life than she had before. This was such a great graphic novel. It was hilarious. It was dark at times, which I was not expecting, but I really liked that aspect of it. And also, the art style just, so good! I love it so much. Brian Lee O'Malley is a fantastic artist. I definitely want to check out more by him. I know that Scott Pilgrim is one of his bigger series, so I definitely want to check that one out. He took the storyline that's been done before and kind of reinvented it, and I really loved that about this graphic novel. Then I read another graphic novel, and that is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. I've been wanting to pick this up for so long. I finally got it this past month, and I sat down and read it, and I just loved it so much. Oh my gosh, it was so good! I love Noelle Stevenson's art style. She has such a fantastic art style, and I just want her to put out more graphic novels because I need more from her. I need her to put out more stuff. I know that she's pretty involved in the comic book world, but I want more graphic novels. Noelle Stevenson, if you're watching this, which I know that you're probably not, put out more graphic novels, please, because they're just so good. In this story, we follow a villain by the name of Ballister Blackheart, and he gets himself a handy-dandy new sidekick who has the ability to shapeshift. That's all I'm gonna tell you, because you just need to kind of dive in and enjoy this one for what it is. If I were to recommend any graphic novel, I would recommend Nimona. Go pick it up. It's so great. So great. So great. The next book I read was one that I didn't own, but one day I just got this massive urge to read this book, so I dropped what I was doing, went and picked it up, and read it, and it was so good, and that is The Martian by Andy Weir. This book is about an astronaut by the name of Mark. After a dust storm, his crew is forced to leave. Unfortunately, they leave him on Mars, thinking that he is dead, but he's not dead, so this is Mark's survival story. It's hilarious and dark, and I will admit there were things that kind of went a bit over my head, and I was like, what is he even talking about? And there was also a few times when I felt like it could have been sped up a little bit, but for the most part, I really enjoyed this one, and this is also being turned into a movie, which is really exciting, and the trailer gives so much away, so do not go watch the movie trailer because it basically spoils the whole book. That freaking trailer has way too much in it. Then I read The Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss, and I actually did a video inspired by this book, so if you want to check that out, then you can click on this book, and I will also leave a link down below. This book was inspiring. Love me some Dr. Seuss, grew up reading Dr. Seuss, highly recommend Dr. Seuss. Then I read a bunch of comics, and I'm not going to review them within this video. I'm going to do another video solely focused on these comic books, but I am going to go through and show you the ones that I read. I read Lumberjanes, Miss Marvel, No Normal, Young Avengers, Style Over Substance, The Wicked and the Divine, and finally Gotham Academy. And out of all of these comics, I would highly recommend picking up Gotham Academy. If you're looking for a comic book series to start, definitely check out this one. Especially if you love young adult fiction, you will definitely enjoy this one. So those are all the books books and comic books and graphic novels that I read in the month of July. I feel like I can't talk anymore because I talked so much in this video. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of the books mentioned within this video. Also, let me know down below what was your favorite book in the month of July. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Later. I'm going, which is exciting. Zack and Mia by A.J. Betts. Forgot to look at the author's name. Then I read a middle grade story, and that is I'm not. That was weird, but it was a thing that I just did with my mouth.